How you doing out there, everybody? I want to say thank you so much for clicking that thumbnail over here, Pepe La View. I appreciate it so much. Thank you, new viewers, you returning viewers, and you subscribers. I appreciate you so much. This is a part of my, I guess you want to say, channel, where I think what I want to do is I want to do something called pep talk, and I want to talk today about something that happened to me. It was, I guess you could say, it was life changing. It was life changing in so much. It was life changing in that it was one of those teachable moments that you can't believe God is showing you all of these things. And yet at the same time, you're fascinated. You're like, you're wondering why today of all days, why this particular place and time, like all of these things at the same time, is happening. And what I want to do today is I want to share this true story with you. First of all, it's inspiring to me. It's true. It happened to me. And secondly, I'm discovering that I've had a lot of teachable moments in my life where God has taught me something. And sometimes you can learn something, but you don't apply it. And I think at this moment in time in my life, as I'm thinking about this particular thing that happened some years ago, I think now I'm getting it. I can finally connect the dots. I understand it. And this is for the person or persons who, I know we it's kind of trendy to say that has a call on your life, or that has a purpose. You're wanting to know what your purpose in life is, or you feel like you have a higher purpose in life, and I think we all do at the end of the day. But this particular journey that I was on this day taught me about my journey. It was someone else's journey I happened to be a part of. But God used this particular person's journey to teach me. And so now, as I am just pretty much, as most people would say, I'm doing me, I'm allowing myself now to just pretty much shrug my shoulders and say, you know what? Your thoughts belong to you. Your feelings belongs to you, and your actions belongs to you. I don't need them in my life. You understand? Like, I'm at the point in my life where I can truly say that I really and truly just don't care as it relates to people. I know people are very finicky, wishy-washy. And for me, I'm just a genuinely easygoing person, an easygoing personality. For me, really and truly, what you see is definitely what you get. There's no pretense over here at all. I promise you, I am as authentic as someone can get. And I'm discovering that my interactions with people sometimes doesn't mesh well. And that could be good or that can be bad when you on your journey with what you would call your purpose or the plan of God in your life, you see. And sometimes sometimes you don't see in you what others see in you. You don't see the potential. You don't see the gift. You don't. especially a person such as myself who is authentic, right? I'm just being me. Definitely. This is just me 24/7. And so what I decided to do when I kind of revamped my channel, so to speak, I was like, I love music. That's what I'm going to talk about. Like, that's just what I love to do. I love it. And everybody around me knows that I love it and I enjoy it. Right? And I'm just doing it my way, no matter if someone likes it or not. I know that I can do this differently. I can do this the way other people are doing it, and maybe have instant success with it. But for me, it wouldn't. I'm not being mean. You see, I've seen enough YouTube videos and YouTube channels that I like, so on and so forth. And I'm like, wow, I like that, and I like this, and I like that. But you know what? I like me, and I like what I'm doing. I'm definitely not trying to be anyone but me. But anywho, so as I said, on this journey, if you have made it this far in the video, this is where I'm going to talk about this journey, so that you can learn a real life story that I'm going to share with you about how you're interacting with people that you really and truly don't know you are. Okay. And for me, this happened several years ago, probably maybe 5-6 years ago. And now today, this very moment, I'm going to share it with you. But and now that I think about it, I'm like, wait a minute, this needs to be applied like right now in my life. So here we go. So one day I I receive a phone call, and it's from a person I know very well. And the person tells me or asks me, hey, is it possible for you to take this person, another person who I know very well, to this important meeting? It's a very important meeting. It's a life-changing meeting. If this person does not get to this meeting, then it's going to be the outcome of the meeting, the things that are supposed to come out of this meeting. These things are going to be postponed indefinitely, like they're going to be put off, like it's going to fall through. So not only is it important, this meeting is important, getting there is important, and getting there at a particular time is important. True story. I was like, well, okay, sure, no problem. So of course I'm asking what time and where am I going? Am I taking this person? So the person who needs to be telling me this or asking me this isn't asking me. Someone in the middle is doing all of the legwork for this person. Keep in mind that this person who I'm supposed to take there, they have also asked someone else to do it as well. So it's kind of like it's such an important meeting that they're trying to have a backup person. I'm the backup person. Why am I the backup person? Because I live an hour and 30 minutes away. The person who should be taking the person to this meeting actually lives in this person's town or city. It's what it is. Keep in mind that this person who lives in this town with this person is not a very reliable person at all. This person can really and truly change their mind at the drop of a dime. Okay, especially if this person is mad at the person who's supposed to get to the meeting. It could be that morning that it's time to go, and that person is upset about something. That person be like, I don't care if you go to it or not, blah, 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 blah. Like, that's how this person is. Seriously. So I didn't think anything else about it. As I said, I'm a pretty much reliable person. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I have learned to be a person of my word, and now I'm learning that I'm holding people accountable. That's what you said. If it comes out your mouth, I'm going to hold you accountable for it. You said it. All right. As I said, there's a whole lot of lessons in just this one story. So there I am, saying, okay, sure, no problem. Asked a little bit of questions about it. As I said, when, well, the date and the time. So the next day, I get to work, and what do? I go in and I put in a leave request from work, saying, "Hey, I need to be off this particular day, so and so, so and so," and I've called it a day. I told my supervisor there's a possibility that even though I'm putting in the notice to be off, I'll probably come to work if someone else can do what needs to get done that day. Didn't think anything else about it. So there I am preparing, either I'm going to go to work that morning or I'm going to take this person to this very important meeting. Now, of course, the inevitable happened. Everybody already knows I'm going to be the person to take this person to this very important meeting. Now, I live an hour and 30 minutes away. I actually live in another state, right? But I live an hour and 30 minutes away from the person's address. When I get to the person's home, I then have to take this person to another city that's 40 minutes away. So altogether, let's just say this trip is like maybe 2 hours and 15 minutes altogether, and that's just to get to the city that the person has to be at, not the time. So there I am, as I said, I'm pretty much trying to map things out the way that needs to get done. I know that this meeting is very important. I want to make sure that the person gets there. I'm a responsible person, as I said before. So the first thing I do is I'm like, well, let me make sure I got gas money. You know what I'm saying? I got to have some money on me, so on and so forth. I just want to, because I'm going, down the road. So I wake up, give myself enough time to get on the road, get to the location, and get to the person's home. When I do that, no one has told me anything but those two important things: the time and the location. Now, I'm thinking in my head, and I'm pretty sure you guys are probably thinking, well, if they're asking you to take the person there, then that's all that needs to be done. And that person is going to supply the gas money, so on and so forth, all of that. So when I get to the person's home, the person gets in my vehicle, and we make small talk for the most part. How you doing? Good morning, so on and so forth. And so eventually, I have to ask the question. I was like, well, where's the gas money? So the person looks at me like, huh? I'm like, well, yeah, where's the gas money? So the person is looking at me like, I don't know. I don't have any gas money. It's your important meeting. And it's a meeting that you person, need to get to. But you didn't ask me. You came through a third party to get me to take you. And there was nothing wrong with the person asking me. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like the person who needs to get there was nothing wrong with that person asking me. It's not like the person has never asked me to do anything before. But again, this is very important. I don't know why everything is hush hush. If the person did not have the gas money and told me, hey, can you take me, which means I'm depending on you to supply the gas for this trip, so on and so forth, I wouldn't have any issues with that. I just don't know all the details. See, hold on. The story is going to get good. So if you have stayed with me this 15 minutes in this video, then I'm here to tell you, you're about to get into some meat and potatoes. See, this person is trying to get to this very important meeting and not sharing the details of this meeting. Now, I understand that there's going to be some things in your life that are hush hush. I understand that. I understand there are some things that you want to keep to yourself as far as the things that are going on in your life. But when you start to include people on your journey, you need to be able to be around some people who you trust enough to share some information with. Because if you can't share all the information with this person or enough information to get you there, to understand what you're trying to do and where you're trying to go, Molly, you're in danger. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like your plan and your purpose in your life is already in danger. You see? And I understand that there are some people in life who, God is revealing to that person things that that person should and shouldn't reveal. All I'm saying to you, when it comes time for you to include people on your important journey, things that when you got a mission in your life and you're trying to get to that place and you are not sharing that information with people, or you can't share that information with people, but you expected people to get you there. Not only that, but if you are on a journey in your life and you have a plan and purpose for your life, you need to start preparing yourself. You need to be prepared. So when someone comes along and they're able, I'll put it to you this way. You should be able to do the things that you know you should be able to do. And the person that comes along in your life should be able to do what you are not able to do. So let's just say the person couldn't drive. Let's just say the person don't drive. Well, that's fine. The person don't drive. God has prepared a way for you, a way for you to travel. Have your money, be able to pay your fare. Do you understand what I'm saying? But there you are, you got the traveling down, but you don't have the means. Oh, I know I can take this. I know I can use this to get me there, but you don't have anything. You don't have anything to get you there. You need some resources. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I kind of shrugged my shoulders. I said, when I knew, I kind of expected and prepared myself to be able to do this. I kind of prepared myself. So I was not happy. I was not thrilled about this at all. But you know what I did? I decided, you know what? I'm going to go ahead on and do this anyway. It's what it is. As I said, I came prepared. So the person was like, well, we can go over here and ask this particular person, one of the persons in the group, for gas money. I said, oh, no, please, let's not do that because I've already, kind of mapped this out as far as the time is concerned. And if we go across town or we go anywhere within the town to do this, then we have already messed up our, time. Don't worry about it. I got it. But I'm not happy because I don't want to spend any of my money for something, So anyway, so for the most part, at this moment in time, I'm not in a good mood, about having to do it because, again, my expectation was that at least that was going to be supplied as well, but it wasn't. So I kind of shrugged my shoulder because at this moment in time, I kind of felt like I was used a little bit, because everything is hush hush. Not only that, I was like, well, where are we going? So on and so forth. The person wouldn't tell me. So that was another thing. I knew where we were going, and I'm saying to myself, why is everything so hush hush? You can't tell me where we're going, and I'm in the vehicle with you. Like I'm driving the vehicle, which means I'm going to be there. I'm going to be. Listen to what I'm saying. Like I am going to take you to a particular location. I'm trying to figure out what location am I trying to get you to. You don't even want to share that with me. Do you understand what I'm going? Like it was like pulling teeth for that. So I was like, okay, it is what it is. I know when I get there, it's going to be what it is. I don't have time for the back and forth, trying to figure out, all the ins and outs of this day. Let's just get there. So we're driving, making good on time, arrive into the city. And since it looks like we have like a 30-minute window, from the time, that the appointment is, we both now are relaxed, making small talk in the vehicle, so on and so forth. And, just kind of like both of us are at ease for about a minute or two. So someone mentioned to me when I asked them about it. Well, the person who was supposed to take this person mentioned, hey, don't worry about, freak out about the location. If you can't find it immediately, like at the first time, don't worry about it because it's on the main road. So you can't miss it. And the main road is not that long at all, not the main road. So at this moment in time, GPS is not working. So now it's about to get interesting because GPS is not working. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. But the address is on the paper, obviously. So I'm like, okay, well, we ain't gonna worry about it. GPS isn't working. We have the location on the paper. The main road is not that long at all. So what we're going to do is we're driving down the road. We're going to kind of go kind of slowly, but we're going to look at the numbers. Right-hand side, left-hand side, you see. So we're driving down the road and we're getting closer and closer to the numbers. The location is going to be on my left. So I'm looking to my left and I'm like, this is the number, but this is not the location. Because the location, the place where the actual location, it has another name on top of the building. So I'm like, well, that's not it. Can't be. Like, there's a whole nother name. So I'm like, that's not it. I'm like, oh, well, maybe they moved. I don't know. I'm looking at the name, so on and so forth. So what we do is we go up the road. We don't see it. We come back down the road. We don't see it. We go back up the road. We don't see it. And so what we decide to do is go further up the road. Then we enter into a residential area. And then after the residential area, we're about to end up in the country side of the town or the city. So we immediately turn back around and said, that's not it. And we go back down the road. So now everything's popping off in my head, like we can't find the location. Like, did we come to the right place, city or town? Like, something's wrong? Mind you, this is a very important meeting. We have to get there. And time is ticking, right? On this journey, it's very important, people, that you give yourself enough time for things like this. When it looks like things are not working out the way they're supposed to work out for you, it's very important to give yourself a time frame, to pace yourself, to get up early, if you will, to always work on it, to prepare yourself for when situations like these occur, that it won't eat away at your time, that you're supposed to be where you are. It's good to get to the place early sometimes, right? So anywho, so then the inevitable happens, right? I don't want my person to freak out, my passenger to freak out, because I know the importance that has been stressed on this meeting. So I'm like, hey, don't stress out. I got it. We're gonna get it. So now in my mind, since the GPS is not working, we're trying to call the number, but the office is not open at this particular time. It looks like my passenger is going to be the first client that day or in that morning. So I get up, I go get out. I go to a convenience store. I ask them about it. I ask them the location. Tell them the name of the business. Everybody's shrugging their shoulder like we never heard of it before, I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. So I get back in the car. I let my passenger know. They said they've never heard of this before. I'm like, but don't freak out. We're going to go across the street to the next business. And that's what we did. Nobody knows. So I'm like, somebody has to know something. So there we are. We're driving around, eating away at the time. We had a 30-minute window. That 30-minute window is now becoming a 15-minute window. So now we're driving around in the, the little ins and outs of the road. I won't call it like the back alleys. I won't call it that. But when you're in a downtown area, sometimes you're going, behind businesses, and things like that. You're literally driving, trying to, find the location. So as we're doing that, a particular gentleman is outside. And one man was like, ask him. I felt something within me just says, ask him, ask, him about the location. So you know how you kind of drive up and then you kind of turn back around and then one man said, no, ask him. And that's exactly what I do. I was like, okay, Lord, I'm going to do it. I'm going to ask him. And I do. So I drive up to this particular location. And the gentleman, he's outside of a truck, like he has a truck. A truck is parked in front of this. Now that I think about it, it could have been a church. I'm not quite sure, but he's outside and he's doing something in the parking lot. So I go up to him and I ask him about the location. And immediately the gentleman said, oh, I know what you're talking about. I know where the place is. So now he's trying to tell me where the location is. And the location that he's given me is not the location that's on the paper, but we kind of assume that since there's another business there, I'm thinking that the business had moved. Okay. So as the gentleman is giving me the location, so on and so forth, now my memory is not that good at all sometimes. Like literally, it's not, especially when you're trying to give me locations. And so as he's trying to tell me, go here, turn there, so on and so forth, I'm like, okay, I'm repeating what he's saying as he tell me. He's like, okay, I'm like, take a left here, this, that, and the other. That's how I remember things. I got to hear, see it, smell it, taste it, touch it for me to remember it. So as I'm going to assume as he's looking at me trying to remember it, he kind of goes like, I tell you what, this gentleman, he says, how about I drive you there? Basically, he was like, get in the vehicle. He got in his truck, I got in my car, and we were to follow him. Now I'm like, Lord, please, Jesus, like, don't. I don't want to follow this man somewhere. You know what I'm saying? That I'm not supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? And so anyway, just kind of, gave it over to the Lord and said, all right, Lord, I'm going to let him, take me to this place. I'm going to follow him to this place. And sure enough, at this moment in time in your life, you probably are going to have to depend on the kindness of strangers. Do you understand? The kindness of strangers. Sometimes there are going to be people in your life who you are going to come across, and they're going to be good, genuine people. They're going to be the people who, when you ask them something, right, they're going to see that you're probably struggling with it or you're trying to get it together, and they might come along and say, hey, hold on for a second. Let me show you or get you to where you're trying to get to. There are going to be some people out like that. Sure enough, we drive up to this particular location behind him. Time is a ticking because you remember I told you it was a 15-minute window. Now that 15-minute window has now gone down to, let's just say, a 10-minute window. So we get to this particular location. I'm looking at the paper. I see the name that's on the paper. I'm looking at the building name as we're approaching it. Now I'm feeling at ease because I'm like, oh, I'm telling my passenger, look, the names are kind of similar, so on and so forth. And so, we're kind of thrilled. I'm kind of happy. I'm relieved. I'm like, oh, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. So I get out the car and the gentleman literally gets out his vehicle too. The strange gentleman, gets out of his vehicle. He goes into the business with us, me and my passenger. And I'm like, sir, I appreciate it, but no, you don't have to do that. You've been very helpful. And guess what this gentleman says? He was like, no, I just want to make sure you guys get there, so on and so forth. I was like, well, I appreciate it. So we get there. It's about to get interesting. So if you are here now at the 30-minute mark of this video, then you are about to learn something real good. So the stranger who has been kind enough to take time out of his morning to get us to a location that we're trying to get to, right? To make sure we get there. We get there to the location, supposedly. And now what we're about to do is we're about to encounter a whole different person. I mean, totally different from the person who we encountered, the stranger. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when we get in, the vibe is already off. Immediately, the vibe is off when we get to this location. The lady behind the counter, she has nothing for us. Nothing at all. Like this, I don't know if this is not a good morning for her. I'm not quite sure what's going on. I just know as it relates to me for sure, I'm feeling a bad vibe from her, just period. I don't know what my passenger is feeling, but at the end of the day, so what I do is I just say, well, ma'am, I have my passenger, so on and so forth. We're here, blah, blah, blah. Let's supposedly have a meeting. So now we have the paper out. So the lady is looking at us like she has no idea who we are, of course, and why we're there. And we're trying to figure out what is going on. Now, she has the paper. She's reading the paper that has the important information on it regarding my passenger. She's reading it. The same paper that my passenger has been, not allowing me to see all the details of the paper. So this lady is reading it. So I'm a little frustrated at her. She's not answering any of our questions. And the next thing I know is that the stranger, the male stranger, and the rude lady behind the counter are in a dialogue with each other about who? About me and my passenger. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Like the passenger, the stranger is talking to the lady behind the counter. And in a full dialogue, she is communicating with the stranger like we're not there about my passenger's important meeting. So, of course, I'm getting frustrated. And I'm about to tell this lady a whole lot about herself. I really am. First of all, ma'am, number one, we're in the wrong location. You have already told us that. I'm trying to figure out exactly what it is and what's going on and, thinking that you're going to be helpful. The lady wasn't helpful at all. She was not as helpful as the strange gentleman was. She wasn't. But guess what? The two are in dialogue about my passenger, the plan and purpose, the meeting. They're in dialogue about it. Do you understand what I'm saying? They're in dialogue, full-fledged dialogue. And I'm not happy. So I want to go tell her to jump in the river. I want to snatch the paper out of her hand and I want to tell her about herself. But then one mind says, look. And so as I'm looking, I'm like, I ain't going to say anything. Why? Well, first of all, as I'm listening to the two of them in a conversation, I'm getting information. Like I'm quiet now. I'm listening. I'm not happy, but I'm getting information back and forth. She's talking to the gentleman more about the situation than us. She's not having a conversation with us. So I was like, okay. So now, because time is ticking, and now a 10-minute window has become a 5-minute window. 5 minutes. It is now about to be the top of the hour, and we have to be there in 5 minutes. We're calling, no answer. 5 minutes of our time now is being spent, and we are frustrated as heck. I have a stranger who has been nice enough to get us to a place where he's not able to help us, but he has been nice enough to give us some directions. This nice stranger has given us some direction, but these directions are not able to help us. See, sometimes people in life, they can be well intentional. They can have good intentions, but can't get you anywhere. Do you understand what I'm saying? I have met a few people like that. As a matter of fact, I'm one of those people. I'm going to tell you why I'm one of those people. Because I'm the kind of person, I hate not knowing something. So if someone comes to me and say, "Oh, do you know where so and so a such and such thing is, or how to do so and so?" I might go like, "Well, no, but I don't know. Like, you look like you're struggling with something. Can I help you at all? Because this looks like it's kind of difficult. I just, at this moment in time, I just want to help because I see you struggling. I don't want you to struggle. I just want to do my due diligence as a person, as a decent human being. I just want to help you." Do you understand what I'm saying? I just want to help. That's all. But I can't help you. But if you let me do something, I feel at ease. Do you understand what I'm saying? But again, at the end of the day, I'm probably not helping you achieve anything. And just going through the motions, helping you feel good. Do you understand what I'm saying? Making the stranger was making a not so pleasant day just pleasant, just by being present in our lives. And for whatever reason, the person wanted to have a dialogue with the stranger versus having a dialogue with us. I'm going somewhere. It's going to bless you. It's getting better. So now we're in the lobby of this business, and now we have to figure out everything in 5 minutes within this particular place. Do you understand what I'm saying? In this particular location, where the stranger is communicating with the person who doesn't want to have anything to do with us, but knows all our business, the stranger's business. Why? Because they're looking at the paper. They're looking at the plan and the purpose that God has for your life. Do you understand what I'm saying? See, there are some people in this world right now. You got a stranger who wants to help, but then you got another person who don't want to help. Do you understand what I'm saying? Their whole purpose pretty much really and truly is to be a thorn in your side during crunch time, who is not engaging in any conversations with you at all, who's ignoring you but want to know all your business. True story. That's what I'm getting out of all of this. So now I'm calling. I'm frustrated. We calling. Now I'm looking at the paper. Now I have the opportunity now in the midst of this, because it's crunch time. So the things you didn't want to share with me in the beginning, you have to share with me now, because you wasn't trying to let me know everything in the beginning. So now I'm looking at it, I'm like, well, this location, this letter came from a different state or town, or a different state. I mean, not a different state, but a different city. So why is it that this paper is coming from a different city than the one we're at? Should I have taken you to this city, this other city, and not this city? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I'm able to read all of this now. So I'm calling the number at the top. I'm calling all kinds of numbers on this paper. I think it's maybe 2 different numbers on this paper, and I'm calling both of them. My passenger is now frantic, like, to the point where so worried that, tears can come out of my passenger's eyes. That's how frustrated my passenger is, because my passenger's like, "Oh, I don't want to miss my meeting. Oh my God, I don't want to miss my meeting. I want to miss my meeting." Do you understand what I'm saying? So finally, it is 8:00 in the morning. I call. Someone immediately answers. I'm relieved. I'm like, oh my gosh, do you not understand how I'm just relieved. I want to go into the spiel about everything that has happened for the last 30 minutes. That's neither here nor there. I'm like, hold on for a second. So now I done took the paper out of the lady's hands and everything, and I'm talking to someone now. Like now I'm getting the details. Okay. So I tell the lady who's on the phone with me, we're trying to get to you. The address that's on this paper is different. Like we don't know where you are. So the lady confirms, sir, we are in the location, like where you guys were up and down the road. We are there. She's saying that we're here. I'm like, no, ma'am, you can't be because I've been there. Like I've went up and down the road. I've looked, I saw. She was like, sir, I promise you, we are here. So the area where we met the stranger in is the area now we have to go back to. So it's 8 o'clock. The appointment, it was for 8. Guess what? So now the lady is like saying, well, there's a 10-minute grace period. She was like, well, you got 10 minutes. She was like, there's a 10-minute grace period. So now God has given us some grace. We have given ourselves some time to prepare for things like this, right? And when it seems like what is supposed to help you get there falls through, the GPS isn't working. You got a letter so you know the address, but when you get there, the address that's on the paper is not matching up with the address, the actual physical address in the town or city. You got a stranger who's nice enough to try to get you, help you find out where it is, but he's not helpful. He's just he think he knows. He think he knows. He think he knows. He's not sure. Based off what you told him, he was like, I think this is what it is. Nice stranger trying to get you to where you need to be, gets you there, and all of a sudden you realize this is not the place. It's not the place. So now here we are I tell my passenger, I'm like, all right, come on, we got 10 minutes. Let's get in the car. And I'm telling my passenger, listen, where we were is where we need to be. So at this moment in time, the stranger who was nice enough to get us to where we were, he's basically talking about, well, I sure, want to help. Make sure you guys get there and this, that, and the other, blah, blah. That's what he's saying. So here's what I politely do. I say, I tell the stranger, I says, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. You have been very helpful today. I thank you so much. But at this moment in time, this is where our roads no longer cross. Like this is the end of the road for the two of us, but I appreciate it. I know where I need to be. I got to get my passenger there. I got to get my passenger there within 10 minutes. I have some idea of where we need to be. It is what it is. I got to get my passenger there. Okay. And I'm making sure my passenger is staying calm. And for the most part, my passenger is calm. I can tell there's no external behavior letting me know my passenger is frustrated or irritated, but I'm pretty sure there's a whole lot going on within my passenger. Get in the vehicle, drive off, and for the most part, I'm almost nearly running red lights and stop signs because I'm trying to shoot back down the road. So now I start strategizing in my head, and I said, Lord, I said, I don't know. I don't know where this location is, but I tell you what I do know, that when I get to this location, right, in this particular area, this is what I tell the Lord. I said, when I get to this particular area, I am going to park my vehicle. And I say this to the Lord. I am going to park my vehicle. And if I have to get out my vehicle and get in the middle of the road and just look around in the particular area so I can get a better view of where this particular building is, then that's what I'm willing to do. If you're here for this part of the story, this is when God is really and truly about to work up some magic. So I get into the area where I know the business is located. I see a parking space, not even thinking about it at all. I said, I'm just going to park right here. So I park in the parking space. And I'm like, well, let's just get out. Let's just see. I'm not quite sure. That's what I'm telling my passenger. This is a true story. Can't make it up. As I'm getting out of my vehicle, I'm putting my left foot on the ground. I'm about to pull out my right foot and put that on the ground. And you know how you are when you got your hand pretty much on your door, you're getting out, and now you're about to put your other hand on top of the roof of the car. You know what I'm saying? And you're getting ready to shut the door, but you're pretty much looking like straight ahead almost. I hear a voice out of nowhere. And it wasn't loud. It was quiet. It was almost like a whisper. Very quiet, but loud at the same time. So as I'm doing this, I hear a voice say, look. I'm like, huh? Because we're anxious, like we're trying to find the location. And I hear a voice say, look. So I'm like, huh? So the only thing at this moment in time I know to do was look straight ahead. That's all I knew to do. And so I'm getting out and I hear, look. And I'm like, huh? Look. So I'm looking, but you know how you're looking and you can't make words out, but you're looking straight ahead. And then that's when I'm saying to myself, okay, let me, adjust so I can read this, read the sign. And sure enough, I looked again and I was like, look at this. I just shook my head. I tell my passenger, I said, look, literally, look, there it is right there. So the business that I'm looking for, you guys, is literally in front of me. This is all about to make some sense to you. True story. So I'm looking at the building. I tell my passenger, I'm like, look, there's the business right there. So my passenger, of course, get everything out the car and just go into the building. I said, don't worry about me. Don't worry about me at all. Just go ahead on and go into the building. That's it. So my passenger goes into the building. I'm relieved. I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you, Lord. Thank you. I just, because of all of the stuff that was going on, I was just like, thank you, Lord. My passenger was able to get to the meeting on time, and I kind of felt responsible. And what I was trying to do was get my passenger there. And I was like, listen, I know me, and I don't need all this frustration, within me, because it'll throw me all out of whack. And so I need to focus so that I can help you get to where you need to be. So this is when the good start getting good. And this is when God started working on me. So there I am, frustrated, relieved at the same time. So then some interesting things started to appear. Because, if you know me, I'm like, I'm a thinker. I'm like, how did I miss this? This is me. I'm like, I don't get it. I was like, I drove up and down this road all this time. How did I miss this? How? I mean, it was in the location that we were always in. On the main road, that's where it was. It's like, how did I miss this? Then I happen to look up. Then I get angry. I look up and I get angry. And I'm going to tell you why. Just like I was angry at the lady who was talking to the stranger about our business. And I want to tell her how I felt about her. But I recognized that she was kind of assisting in a roundabout sort of way. So I let her have her way while she thought she was ignoring me. But I let her have her way. See, you weren't pulling nothing over my eyes. I just let you have your way because I didn't want to call you out because this wasn't the time to do it because I got some things to take care of. So I look up at the building and I was like, I'll be John Brown. So here's what happened. This is how I missed the location. This is going to bless somebody. I'm here to tell you, if you stuck around for this, then you needed to hear this. You know how some businesses are. They are suites, right? And this particular business had a suite within this building. Do you understand what I'm saying? So their addresses were on the wall. They were literally on the wall, on the brick of the business. Now, there was another company, a bigger company, a major corporation. They have several corporations in a whole lot of cities, states, and towns. They really do. I'm not calling their name out. So when I look up, since that company, I guess, was a major business, what they did is that they had their sign like on top of the building, making you think that their building, that their business was inside the whole building. It wasn't. There were other smaller companies or whatever, and maybe they wasn't smaller, but what they decided to do was not have their name on top of the building. They had their names on the wall, but there were all of them were suites inside this building, including the major corporation. They also had a suite within its building. That's how I missed it. Because, see, I was too busy paying attention to the main sign that I wasn't paying attention to all of the signs. See, sometimes we're not paying attention to our destination because somebody else business or vision is trying to block yours. Do you understand what I'm saying? So there I am, getting out of my vehicle, mad and I'm angry because I'm like, and here's my what I'm saying. Who does that? Like, who in their right mind would do something like that? Like, who would put their business sign up there like that? And I mean, I'm thinking all kinds of things right now. And then I'm thinking about the letter, the actual letter that was written to my passenger. That inside the letter, for the sake of those who probably will make a mistake like that, they don't put in their letter that, oh, we are in the same building as this particular major corporation, so we share the building together. That's not what it says. The letter doesn't say that, but everybody in the building are aware that at the top of the building is the main business. I mean, the bigger business logo. So now my passenger is in there waiting to be seen, like has taken a seat. And I'm telling my passenger about it, and I'm not happy. I am not happy at all. I am not happy at all. And here's what ends up happening. So finally, the lady comes out of the office to call in my passenger into the meeting. And so as she is coming out of her office, you know what I want to do? I want to give her a piece of my mind. Matter of fact, I want to give her a whole of my mind. I want to tell her how ignorant this whole thing was for her, you know, this, that, and the other, and the sign, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm saying to myself, watch yourself. You don't want to mess this up for your passenger by you telling the lady about how you feel about this whole process. So I keep my mouth shut. I zip my lips. But I do have to ask her, why? And so I did. I said, ma'am, Y'all know y'all have a sign up there like we missed it because of the sign that's on top of the building, and y'all have y'all little smaller sign on the side of the on the wall. Nobody can see your sign, but we see this big huge sign. And guess what she said? Her response, her reply to me shocked me. I was not ready for this reply. And you know what she said? She said, "Oh yeah, we know that. Some people, yeah, it happened to some people. Yeah." What? You mean to tell me, ma'am, you are aware that you are having people miss important meetings in their lives because you failed to give them some information that would assist them on trying to get to you? When people have told you that this is an issue and you still refuses to correct it, as far as in your paperwork where you can literally say, hey, if you miss it by chance, we are located in the same building as this particular company. Which means when people see this company, they know, oh, okay, well, they say somewhere inside this particular building with this company, so we good. Let's just park right here. And other people do that and miss it. I was like, ma'am, I was like, oh, okay. I was done. I was done. I was like, oh, okay. I kept moving. I did. I allowed my passenger to go into her meeting. And I was like, I was done. But it gets better. If you stay for this part, then this is when God is speaking to you about you. So now I'm done. I'm chilling. I'm relaxing. Got everything pretty much out the way. Thought I was good. I really did. I thought I was good. But I wasn't. I thought God was done. He wasn't. So there I am, getting ready to sit down on the couch and just relax and let my passenger have the meeting of her life. And so as I'm getting ready to sit down, you know how you're about to squat? You know, you're about to sit in the chair. But at the same time, I'm getting ready to sit in the chair or on the couch. I'm reaching for some magazines on the table at the same time. So I'm sitting and I'm in a getting ready to get in a sitting position, and I'm grabbing some of the a magazine at the same time. I'm trying to sit, and then God speaks again, and what He says to me, I'm like, huh? So there I am in the position I'm getting ready to sit. And I hear a voice say to me, sometimes you have to come from up under people. Huh? Sometimes you have to come away from under people. Sometimes you have to come out of people's shadows. I'm like, huh? Come out of people's shadows? Yeah, come out of people's shadows. See, for me, that sign represented a lot. There was nothing wrong with those companies coming together and saying, hey, I understand you're a major corporation. I understand that. But I have some clients who they need to be, who needs to see me as well. Who need to see me as well. How about we share the marquee together? How about we have your company, my company, their company, the other companies? How about everybody in this building pitch in together and we share the marquee together? I don't know if anybody ever thought about that. I don't know if people were content with having their sign on the wall while this major corporation was saying, like, well, hey, we'll put ours at the top. See, it bothered me to know that someone who was responsible for changing people's lives knew that there was something that was being done where other people were being put into shadows or blinded. You know, it's like the thing that you're asking God for, but it's hidden in plain sight. And sometimes it's not hidden. It's just that some people don't want you to see it. So they keep it. It's kind of like what I would call public secret. It's in the public. Everybody has the right to know, but only a few know it. If you blink, you'll miss it. Come out of the shadow of people. I'm at the hour mark in this video, but I'll leave with this, and I might talk a little bit more about it because it is getting late, but I will say this. I think about Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. I know they're in the news right now, but I think about those two. See, to me, Scottie Pippen is a better basketball player than Michael Jordan. And I know it's hard for people to fathom that. That was like, there's no way that Scottie Pippen is a better basketball player than Michael Jordan. Well, how would we ever know that Scottie Pippen is a better basketball player than Michael Jordan if Scottie Pippen was always playing in Michael Jordan's shadow? We never got the opportunity to see what Scottie Pippen can do because Michael Jordan was too busy having his name in neon lights. Everybody was too busy marketing Michael Jordan and making him the standout player. Scottie Pippen was too busy playing his role and being in the shadow. Come out of the shadow of other people. Let your light shine. Now, this is where I'm going to stop in this video because there's another part to this that I want to talk about and use other examples. And so as I recap, just briefly, what I want to say to people out there right now is that I want to say that we all have a plan and purpose for God, or we all have a plan and purpose in our life that God has placed in our lives. We all have important meetings to get to. We all have those life-changing meetings in our lives. Some of us, we have them multiple times. But I would like to think we all at least have one. And we're all trying to get to that important meeting in our lives. Sometimes, majority of the time, most times, all of the time, you have to be able to be in a position in your life where you're not allowing other people to call the shots for you. See, that third party person who called me up to assist a person getting there, you know what that person should have done? Is that even after speaking with me about it, that person who needs to get to that important meeting, when that person found out that I was involved, you know what that person should have done? Let me call you up. Let me tell you about this important meeting. I'm saying it's important. I have to get there. And if you're going to get me there, then I need to know and hear it for myself that you're going to get me there. And while that person has to get to that important meeting, you know what that person should be doing? It should be preparing himself or herself for when the day comes that they're going to be able to get to the meeting. Should already come having some resources available just in case. You can't come empty-handed all the time. And you also have to realize, oh, you're going to do this? Well, I'm going to do that. Is that your part? Is this your role? Which one is it in helping me get to this important meeting? And then you also have to give yourself time. Give yourself some time in order for you not to be so stressful. As far as you want to relax and let your hair down on your journey. You do. You want to give yourself some time just in case you run into a little situation. You want to give yourself some time, some leeway, some room. And when it looks like you're about to run out of room, when it looks like you're about to run out of time, do know that God will grace you. He will give his kindness and his mercy. He will extend unto you and say, hey, oh, you here. Like, no, you don't understand. You're here. Like, you have shown up. No, it's not too late. You're here. You're where you need to be. You might not be in the exact place you need to be. Pay attention. Pay attention, but you showed up. See, sometimes all you have to do is show up, and somebody would say, oh, it's not here, it's there. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you have to show up. Oh, thank you, Jesus. You have to show up in order for God to even give you grace and mercy sometimes. You have to show up. And sometimes in this journey, you're going to meet an individual who is a stranger. And that stranger, even though that stranger cannot do for you what you need to get done, that stranger can't do. But you know what? Thank God for the strangers. We need more kind people in this world. We need more kind people who we don't know, but we can at least trust that they won't tamper with the plan and the purpose. When they find out about the plan and the purpose and you trying to get to a meeting and they're trying to assist, had well intentions, but he wasn't trying to tamper with the plan or the purpose. You didn't know him, he didn't know you, but he wasn't tampering with it. But he did his best to get you to where you need to be. But you also need to understand that when you get there, when you get to that place in your life where the stranger can't help you, you know what you need to do? Instead of trying to be nice and not to hurt the stranger's feelings, you need to say to the stranger sometime, or say to people sometime, I appreciate your help. I really do. I see that you're trying to get it done, but this isn't working. No. I thank you. I don't mean to hurt your feelings. We need more people in the world like you who are just kind and hearted and want to see people win and do well. No, you can't help me. No, you can't help me because I'm seeing it. Like, you're not helping me. You're doing your best to try to make sure that I get there. But this is where the journey ends. But I thank you. God bless you. And then you have people who just want to know your business. They're not going to talk to you about it. They're not even going to act like they're trying to help you. But you know what? They're going to take your business and they're going to read it. Go read your business. Right there sometimes in front of you. And talk to people all around you about your business. And you know what you do? You just go, all right. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, if that's how you feel. But you know what? I ain't got to entertain this. So you know what you do? You ignore it and you ignore people trying to get into your business. You ignore people trying to get into your business. And what you do at that moment in time is you keep doing what you keep trying to get to that meeting. You keep your eye on the prize. You keep your eye on the goal. And when there are some people who are trying to get to where you're going, like they're just trying to follow, sometimes you have to tell people you can't go because you can't help. Like this is it. You can't go. But I just want to make sure you get there. I understand, but at this moment in time, you're just an onlooker because you can't, there's nothing you can do. And then you have to understand on this journey, sometimes your blessing, where you're trying to get to, is hidden in plain sight. And people are manipulating that. And they're okay if you miss it, your important meetings. Some people behind the door, oh gosh, some people behind the door, the people behind the door are okay if you miss the important meeting. Maybe they're jaded. Maybe they're at the door and they're jaded. Maybe they're at the door and they're just tired of helping people or seeing people show up. Maybe they're at the door, but they're not good stewards at the door, but they're there. There's all kinds of things going on as far as people at that door is concerned. And then make sure that as you're doing you, that you're not in someone's shadow. Come out of people's shadow. Come out of the shadows of others and shine. And on that note, this is where the video ends. I appreciate you guys so much. And if you stayed there watching, I appreciate you a whole lot. That is a true story. And it's resonating with me now more than ever. At the time, it was just something that happened to me that I just continue to remember. But this moment in time in my life, I tell you that it is definitely being applied. I can see it. I can see it. I can see it. I sense it. And you also know, over here at Pepe La Vie, I believe in you putting your heart where you put your behind where your heart desires to be. And whenever I leave my mother's presence, she always says to me, baby, remember, I love you, but God loves you best. And you know that I love you. And I thank you so much for your support. I appreciate that. Thank you for your like, your sharing, your subscribing, your watching, your commenting. I appreciate that. And until then, I'll see you next video. You all take care of yourselves out there.